Like, genuinely, if I could have you all consistently a ball flight from tonight, I reckon I could knock it around a couple under. Easy without trying.
Alright, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I love the fact that most YouTubers have got these kind of nice backgrounds with like mood lighting and pretty stuff. And I've just got a harsh spotlights, the fridge and some dog toys on top of the microwave. But anyway, you're not here for nice backgrounds, are you? Hopefully. A little while ago, I had my first golf lesson in years.
So we're dabbing left, so we're moving kind of across the ball out to it. And that last one there, you're looking at 4 degrees across it.
We made some small changes.
So we'll start with a little bit of club face in the backswing, see if that dictates what our path does. First feeling I wouldn't mind running with is trying to feel as if on the backswing, it'll feel really weird to you. We're going to go a little bit stronger on the way back there.
Which automatically changed my path.
We were averaging kind of 2 degrees to the left with our 7-iron with our path. I'm just going to see if that starts to change a little bit. Nice couple more, I'm not too worried about the first few. But instantly, the only time I've seen your path be to the right. Yeah, good swing. Starting to see your path actually want to be right of that line. So again, we had 2 degrees left before with a deviation that was maybe topping in at 3 occasionally, and now we're edging on the right hand side of that line. That can then start bringing our body into play a bit more and we can move a bit differently.
But the main idea was to get my body working more rather than just swinging with my hands and arms.
I think the arms are working a bit quicker than they need to in the swing, and I think it's actually not the arms. The body's not doing enough and your arms are taking over. In terms of how much that body's actually moving, it's mainly the arms doing all the work, kind of dropping on top. From this position here, the arms are going to have to rotate. You can see you're leaning back a bit. That's probably going to lead into your low point issues.
But that part I found a bit more difficult to change. I practiced as much as I could, I played a few times, but I found that I was still hitting quite a few heavy shots, which have been a problem on and off for quite a while now. And that kind of made me think that I hadn't really nailed the bigger changes that we were trying to make in the first lesson. So I had another lesson more recently. We changed something else, and I think this might be the best that my swing has ever looked. It's a long way from being perfect, and I know that having a good looking swing isn't the be all and end all anyway. I've made videos about that in the past, but I think that we're going in the right direction. I've played once since the lesson and I struck it so much better. Like I was hitting really nice crisp iron shots, and I think I hit 1 or 2 slightly heavy shots in the whole round rather than 1 or 2 per hole, which is what I was doing for a little while. So here is that lesson. Enjoy.
I mean, the ridiculous thing is that's like flush, struck off the middle. Good to go. I'll get a couple from face on as well. Good hit, really nice. Just going to jump in and watch a couple from face on again. Just do a backswing and stop at the top for me where you're comfortable. Just like, yeah, just casually just stop when you feel like you're there. Nice, good. I think. Away, lovely. Do you watch your swing mainly from down the line? Because I mean, we're all guilty. This video. Down the line's kind of a good one. Obviously, that tells us some key parts, and you kind of do get a really good idea of kind of the rotation, the tilts, and a few other kind of main areas. But you can miss other stuff. So for you, if you're only ever looking, and you probably are watching yourself a lot on camera, if you're only ever looking from that down the line position, you could be associating one thing with something different. Like, there's actually a lot of parts today I'm like, that's really good, the turn's good, this is good. Look from the face on and go, okay, there's a glaring, I wouldn't call it a fault, there's a glaring big nail that's not going to make you as consistent. Nice. So, to me, I'm seeing the arms work a lot quicker than they need to. Path's pretty good, that one you're a little bit more to this side, so it's going to be a bit more minus, but it's still a good move. In terms of how we're getting those positions though, the arms are working very quickly, and I think that comes down to kind of what's happening to our back elbow in the backswing. If you set up to that one for me, and just do a backswing and stop like we did a second ago. Again, good, love that, great turn, good leg structure. What's happened, especially when we add a bit of speed to this, we kind of get a bit narrow here, elbow kind of drifts behind us, and at that point, we're a little bit stuck. You might not feel it, you probably feel like I'm really in control, but technically this is, from down the line, this is perfect. We've got the turn, we've got the tilt, we've got the hips working, but we are too far this way for us to make good connection. So we either then have
This way is in to the screen or to that?
yeah,
way?
to the screen.
Right.
So kind of your hand's a bit too close to your
Yeah,
body.
okay, yeah.
We've kind of tucked ourselves in there. From there, to get out of this position, our arms have to work really quick. They're working really well though. Like, in all fairness, the direction they're travelling is nice. They're just travelling that way really quickly. And you think if 1 minute, could have pulled some numbers out of thin air here, let's say moving 100 miles an hour this way, that's going to deliver the club in a certain way. If then the next time you move, you don't have to move as quickly or you move a different pace, that's going to put the club at somewhere else. And then obviously you've got the fact that your lower body's moving and it's just not matching up, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I think we want to try and pursue a bit more width at the top of our backswing there. So we're going to try and feel as if this elbow stays further away. Obviously you'll get a great turn now, the shoulders are turned, the hips are turned, but this elbow's slipping in behind you there.
Right, yeah.
If we could keep that out in front of our body almost, maintaining these level of turns, we can then let the upper body and lower body work at a more appropriate speed together, rather than being tucked in here. And again, from down the line it would look great, but then I've got to go quickly. I mean, you're not jumping over walls just there, but these have got to go really quick then.
Yeah.
Or we move on to it nicely, a bit too narrow and it all breaks down at the ball. That can happen a bit more on the course as well.
Yeah.
So if you do a backswing for me to stop.
So normal backswing.
Normal backswing. Good. We're going to try and give you the feeling like this hands are a bit further away and a bit out there.
Yeah.
Again, that's perfect because our elbow now is kind of away from our chest there. I'd be able to put a club here and know there's space.
Yeah.
Again, with speed, you will probably end up a bit closer than you like to be, but without speed, you will way in there.
Yeah.
Imagine what's happening at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You're getting really tucked in. This view hasn't changed. It's frustrating. You look at that down the line view and you're like, I'm doing what you said, I'm doing what you said, but this part here puts us in a really different spot. So length of swing's still really good, everything's nice there. Just try and really feel like the hands are pushing away. So it's almost like at the top of your backswing, you'd be able to feel like you can kind of stretch out the most, almost past me the club there. That's good.
Yeah.
That's getting the lead arm structure a bit better as well. Good. Give it a couple of practice goes just to try and.
And so this elbow,
yep.
not again as much for me.
That's fine. That's fine.
Not thinking about it being there or there or.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, because again, there's so many different like.
So it's more about effectively that width, like so the left arm's kind of straight.
Yeah, I mean I think that looks really good already. You've got that space there. Arms are in front of the body. If then from this position you turn, we'd end up in a good spot. From here, if we turned, we'd end up either hitting the ground way behind. You might have to save it.
Yeah.
So it kind of really affects quite a lot. I won't talk about what the elbow's doing there yet because again, it's just got to match up with everything else.
Yeah.
Like there are going to be bits where like there's certain places I definitely don't want the elbow, but between like there and there, I'm not going to care.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to be let's make sure it's a bit wider from our body.
Yeah.
And I'll watch him face on while we do a few.
So just obviously still doing that kind of same.
Yeah, I mean that looks really nice.
Yeah.
And again, the numbers you walked in here, I know we've hit a few from this side, but your first few shots, that part when you're warming up, half of almost got too far that way, which is fine. Like that's kind of a good sign that you're exaggerating enough.
Yeah.
Good. Nice. Really good. Stretch out a bit more.
So stretch out, as in.
I would probably just try and feel like that hand pushing us away a bit.
The right
so
hand.
there's, yeah, the trail hand, yeah. And that kind of keeps the club away.
Okay.
As soon as we lose, I mean, this is just a nice coincidence. The arm's now straight. I'm not trying to straighten that. I'm just trying to give you the width here to move a bit easier.
Yeah.
Good. And how does that feel? Probably really short, really like.
Yeah, it feels short and like a physical sort of stretch.
Yeah. That's okay though. I mean, have a few practice swings, then hit a couple. It's not going to be perfect straight away.
Yeah.
But in theory, I want to do most of my recording from there today. But in theory, that's going to give us the ability to then start syncing up what the body and the upper body and lower body are doing.
Yeah.
As soon as I put you in here, your first job is making sure those arms get away from your body to hit the ball. Because if they don't, it's going to be like way stuck inside or way stuck to the body, and they chuck away too far. That strike can really change. Nice. A couple of practice things, really exaggerating, and kind of go from there then. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, is that the right sort of?
Yeah, really good. Again, what I'm seeing when I look at that, I'm seeing a subtly straight lead arm from this position. Obviously, I'm a bit diagonal, but I'm also seeing that elbow just be a bit more proud and more out, rather than it be tucking into the body there.
Yeah, it definitely feels weird.
I'll take a video of you just in a practice swing.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got them as reference. Again, apologies about the angle because it's going to make your head look a lot bigger. Good. Nice. that's before we've had any change. That's kind of before I've asked you to do anything.
Okay, yeah.
And then if we kind of look where we are after that change,
Yeah.
it's a much different position than where your hands are going to come from. So those hands from a down the line position look like they're in a good spot. They've turned, they're nice and deep, but actually they're shifted so close to the body, they've then got to be chucked away or moved in a very quick motion to escape that.
Yeah.
Now we've got all that width that I can ask your body to turn. Again, this was a practice swing. There's going to be bits that change when you add your speed to it and you add your like actual movements. But that's a very different position to be hitting that ball from.
Yeah, I didn't realise how on the original one, like how kind of cramped it all looks.
Yeah, but I bet if I look from down the line at both those swings, I mean, I'm ticking so many boxes of down the line view. I'm ticking, are the hips turned, are the shoulders turned? Is the club got deep enough? Have you done that club in the backswing? Yes, you have. We've just kind of got one part there that's not as it needs to be, and that will really change how we deliver the club.
Yeah.
And again, you can see the kind of arm structure's changed. As we add more levers, effectively our consistency of strike gets worse. You will find some players can hit great from there, but it's just one more thing that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And again, I haven't directly said, look, you have to have a straight arm. I've just asked you to push away, and it's kind of had that knock-on effect there.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Cool.
Good. Nice, and I think from there you can probably turn a tiny bit more. Good. Really nice.
So I'm not thinking about the kind of depth of where the hands are.
That's happening by these turns.
Right.
Your hip turn, shoulder turn, and kind of what's naturally happening as your shoulders work down is putting that club in a really good spot, left to right, like behind you or in front of you. But you've just got to think, right, that's happening, I'm doing that well, let's keep it away from us.
So you hit these at like normal speed? Or?
Yeah, well, 3/4 probably, just to feel that like kind of that move in there. What we don't want to happen is you to go flat out again and just forget about it.
Yeah.
In terms of clearing it up thought process wise, I love what's happening in the backswing. Okay. And again, if at any point you drift away from that because you focus too much on what the arms are doing pushing away, I'll ask you to turn more, I'll ask you to do bits right, but I don't think this, because you've done some practice on it, I don't think this needs every second of your attention now. This looks like we're in a good spot. When you started showing the numbers in a good spot, those hips were turning, we were getting that in a really nice place, so it is only that one thought rather than this and this and this. Yeah. So just don't worry about it. Again, if it goes off, I'll quickly call you out and be like, look, let's refocus on that.
So just focus on the kind of more width.
Good, hit a couple, then I'll stand face on and take a few videos.
Yeah.
Probably feels really hard to commit to it. Feels like you're in a really different spot to where you started.
Yeah, I've got no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's good. That's all we like to hear. Nice. Nice. Stop going up, hitting a bit harder maybe now.
Yeah, it definitely feels a bit shorter.
How'd that feel okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it just feels like, it stops a bit shorter. Almost like, I guess if I think about my swing, it feels like there's kind of quite loose at the top.
Yeah, before it was kind of here.
Yeah.
Now it's
that feels like it's just kind of there and done rather than this like kind of loopy.
Yeah, I would say a lot of that's probably wasted energy though, because like if you're having that swing's not actually any longer. Club moving further. It's not any longer in terms of what you're doing. You're just letting that break down, which makes the club travel further. But it's not worth that for the inconsistencies it'll bring with it. So that's first attempt at that. That's pretty decent for like first time I've recorded. Okay. Again, those hands are definitely further in than when we exaggerated our practice swing, but they're better than when we started. So that's where our exaggerated practice was. Yeah. That's where we started, and it's how close they are to your head there. So I'll just get this to the good. Move through nicely. Okay, again, excuse the camera angle, but that's a nice little position up the top there. And I think then we can start adding, okay, well, how hard do I need to move the arms? How hard do I need to move the lower body?
So, can you just take that one to the top again?
Yeah. So again, this isn't the finished article by any means, but like, that's still better than where we were. It's still further away from your head there.
Did you feel like it should be more?
Could be more. If we can get you a little bit further on exaggeration, kind of get you maybe, again, with the club still going the right distance, get those hands maybe there, let's say, and the hinge kind of club across a bit more. That's then going to mean that when you leave here, and you're not exaggerating this so much, we'll be in a really nice spot. What we don't want is to be back there.
Yeah.
So whatever we have to do to kind of exaggerate those hands being maybe out there or further back, that's going to put us in a good spot.
Yeah.
Because the only difference between this one and this one in terms of what that club travelled the same distance. So if you imagine I measured the distance that club had travelled, that's probably travelled the exact same distance as this one, but this one's so much more effective because you've got the straight lead arm. There's less lever systems there to break down and change. Where from this one, not only have you got to worry about your body doing it, you've got to worry about that arm unhinging at the right rate, the wrists working properly, and then also getting away from being tucked behind your body. So for me, that's a big step in the right direction. It's got a few swings to it, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I don't think I'm not going to a different thing. This is still like the same as far as it works in my head, but I feel like I don't really hinge at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that contributes to this, to like get to a full swing position.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like I've got to.
I think you'd naturally hinge. I mean, you've hinged enough there, and again, that'll be based on how mobile you are. Your grip will also affect how much hinge you get. But I would say that's enough.
Right.
For me, it's not like you're stood there with a straight arm. You do get some wrist hinge in there. Yes, potentially you could go to there, but then you're going to feel all sorts of pressures in there. There's no real difference.
Yeah.
A yard, let's say. There's going to be no change.
Yeah. And
it's better to have something you're striking nicely, consistently, than I'm 4 yards further up because I added that wrist hinge in there.
Yeah. So start hitting it a little bit fully, yeah?
Yeah, and we'll just see kind of what reactions we get from there, but still with that one focus of really getting that club away from you. Don't let it drift behind and tuck in almost.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a really good hit. I'll get you kind of just getting from here.
Yeah.
Just because obviously we're there, you're kind of picking up a slightly different reading. So it's just down that target line.
So I'm just going to feel as if I'm basically passing it to you.
Yeah. I mean, a really good drill for this, if we weren't looking to beat balls, is I'll literally stand here at the top of your swing and ask you to pass it to me. So if you get to the top for me, this is obviously difficult on your own, but and then from there you want to feel like that you would be able to notice how much room you've got there, how much space. Obviously, when everything happens at speed, you then end up around there. But that's different to where we started. So it's just speed and that kind of stretch away.
So that last one didn't feel too complicated. It just felt like, right, I'm just going to reach out.
Yeah, keep whip there.
Yeah.
But that's because you've done the groundwork of putting these other positions in place. And they will disappear from time to time. Nice. What we'll probably see as well is that now your arms are at a different spot. If they move as quickly as they would before, they might go left, let's say. If they move slowly for any reason, it go right. So it's just now dialing into where we settle.
I guess the idea is they then are better in sync with my body.
Yeah, and they don't have to, because at the minute, I'm trying to think of a good analogy, it's almost like you have to move your arms at 100 miles an hour to get them out from behind here. They're already moving really quickly then they can't match up with your legs. Where if we're in fully control of where this is, if I want this to move at, again just pulling numbers out of the air, if I want this to move at 8 miles an hour, I can also get these to do it as well. Where before it was, this had no choice, and then everything else had to fit around it.
Yeah.
Again, in terms of like what we've looked at for last lesson, in terms of what we want to see, it's all a nice data set there, the paths where we want it. We've done those bits. We're not even working on that now. Kind of settled. It's kind of all in the strike. Nice. One more, even more exaggerated.
Yeah, more.
In theory, I don't think you can exaggerate this too much because you're not going to let go of it. You're not going to chuck it that way. The more you feel it, yes, it might resist how much you kind of let that club go back, but with speed it'll naturally end up being there anyway.
So even if it feels like it's really short,
you're probably going to feel like it's here.
So,
but I bet it's not. I bet that wrist hinge does happen.
The
momentum will bring you in slightly anyway. It's going to feel very different how it actually looks.
Cool.
Again, hit one more stupidly exaggerated, and then I'll record one. Now we're going to be a lot shallower. You might find you actually thin a couple, which isn't a bad thing, but it might mean that if you've been playing your ball position an inch forward of centre of the 7-iron, we can probably bring it back half an inch. You might find there's no difference, but that's kind of, I always think ball position's a bit of a tool rather than like somewhere it has to be. Because you're going to deliver the club to a certain point. If that is now, here's where the ball should be, we'll just move the ball. Because if you do that every time, it's better to make that fit rather than to encourage you to do crazy moves.
Just exaggerate as much as I can.
As much as you can. I bet you'll probably think it stops here, and I bet you it's still in a nice little spot there.
Are you good?
Yeah, good to go. How'd that feel? I mean, that was a great strike, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt good. Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels more compact and a bit simpler. I mean, I bet on the video it's going to look so different to how that felt, because to me, it felt like I'm just sort of here.
Yeah, so I mean, but compared to where you felt,
So that was the swing I just did?
Yeah, that's the swing you just hit. You told me it felt like it was there. That's just
it felt like it was less than that.
Well, that's just the natural kind of momentum. You can't stop there, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
You carry enough speed to move through, but no, its hands are further away, the arc's a bit wider, you can then move into it. Great work with the lower body. It's a good position. Again, ball flight and strike are my key concerns there, and both of them were pretty nice.
Yeah.
But if we, again...
It's mad how...
I'll do it in the...
high my hands are, like, you know, how far they travel still.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that club head, if we were to plot every inch that's moved, that's still moving nice and far. Your speed's not going to drop. I mean, we can have a look at where you start and where you are now. The speed's not going to have changed at all. So again, I'll screenshot and do it in the most basic way, but just for speed of it. So
based on where that was, should I try and do it more?
I'd keep. Well, I don't think you could do it anymore, but keep really exaggerating it.
Right.
So that's where we started. Notice how hands and narrow and kind of collapsed that structure is.
That looks horrible, doesn't it?
And that's where that last one was.
Because that looks like a much bigger turn as well to me, like shoulder-wise.
Well, you're being encouraged to.
Yeah.
Once this breaks down, you've got no real need to turn.
Yeah.
Where that then, if you're like, you're not actually going to stop your swing here, are you? You wouldn't stop like here. So if I told you have to stretch that out, you're going to go right. I'll go there.
The only way to get to a swing is to turn.
Is pitch to turn. You're not going to just stop with half a swing and be like, oh, I'm happy with that. Yeah. But really exaggerate it. Nice flush from that.
Yeah, it felt good. No, it's weird, like the carry, you know, is pretty much where it was before what feels like a much shorter swing.
I mean, efficiency's really good there, launch is good, down off's good.
Yeah, so 82 miles an hour.
82.2. And I could chuck you back into kind of the first one we hit if you give me a...
I think that's like, around 80 is where I was floating around before.
You were 79, 80, 79, had a quick one in there, 82, and then 78. So, I mean, you're exactly where you are, but it feels really short to you. Yeah, so it just shows that we're actually not losing any speed at all, but the strike sounds better, the arc's kind of less complicated.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it goes wrong as often. Great hit, spin's good, low points one ahead. Yeah, really exaggerated, don't worry too much about the result. That was really nice. How'd that feel?
Yeah, same, like it does, it feels like it's just, it's a lot of room. It feels, when I started doing the practice swing, before I hit any, I was like, oh god, this feels really terrifying.
Not making battle ball there.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be anywhere near as difficult as I thought it was going to be.
It's because you're actually practice swings I love to make with this, straight out, like you're still like here, you're still getting that, but it's just like that's the feeling we need to actually get you somewhere that's reasonable.
Yeah.
And then really exaggerate it.
Right. I'm going to do it so much, you won't believe it.
So much. Your arms, both arms are going to be straight.
Felt nice.
Just looks like every time you're going to pick it off the same spot as well.
Yeah. I bet there's still hands have travelled a long way.
In terms of the structures there, it's really nice. There's no breakdown there. Actually, your hands have gone higher.
Yeah.
Still, that club travelled miles still.
So weird how it just doesn't feel anything like that.
I notice that lead arm stays straight for as long as it can. You turn onto it, it's nice, forearms rotate, bit of release, and you swung around. If I jump back into... Again, that's broken down, the hands behind your head there. And then again, with that bent arm structure, you're then having to unhinge, everything's moving. What I'm thinking as well, and this is, in theory, your motion of getting this freed up is going to be moving your hands quite quickly. So once your hands start moving quickly, they're not going to stop. So if they started moving quickly here, they're going to carry on moving quickly, and you could be adding loft, and that's going to add a bit of scooping potentially. Where once they're set here and they're not having to move quickly, hopefully when we just turn onto it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you started the swing with a hand movement, and that's not stopping. You've almost like, you pulled the pin there, and it's going to keep coming, and that's going to put us in a spot where there's going to be that inconsistency in strike.
I almost want to do one where it really looks like...
Oh, I'd love to see it. I don't think you'll be able to.
It doesn't seem like I can. Right.
That was one of the widest it's been, I think.
Yeah, it felt like I really tried to overdo it. Obviously, I did hit it heavy.
Yeah, I mean, it's always awkward when I'm sitting there, but I think that's really good. I know, obviously, you're a bit closer to me, the angle's thrown out a little bit, but that is much better. Move on to the ball, turn, turn, turn. And it might be, again, if that's the swing you're going to make every time, nudge that ball position back a little bit. If I actually wanted you to, like I said, hit that a bit harder. That was kind of a tap. You really exaggerated. You had me stood there. You didn't want to really go after it.
Yeah.
But at the top there, that is a much more controlled position to be hitting from.
It's still weird though, because my hands felt like they were like here.
Technically, they're straighter, they're pushed away more. But obviously, as you had that rotation in there, they are going to end up round here. And obviously, it's a 2D image. Like, when you combine the two, you'll see how I was turned and I was away. Yeah. But it's good. And yeah, when you're practicing, if we can get a camera face on for you to look at, that's going to be a real indication of what that arm's doing.
Yeah.
So really exaggerate it and then drive through. Flush.
It does feel nice. It's weird, like even my finish there feels a bit more compact.
Yeah.
Like,
probably both of them working at the same speed.
Yeah, so it's weird, like I didn't at all think about it, but it seemed like my swing was kind of finished here.
Yeah.
Whereas normally it's like this long thing and then it's like sort of a bit of a wrap around.
Arms are working so quick. I mean, this makes a bit of sense. Arms are working so quick, they've got to carry on going, they've got to have that speed,
Yeah.
you've got to wrap around your body.
Yeah.
This is much more of control. It's not punchy, but it's almost like that. I'm in control here, I'm in control here, and I'm in control here, because I haven't had to like kind of save those quick arms.
It does feel a bit more like solid, maybe.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of like,
but it just sounds crisper.
But I mean, in terms of like my body,
Yeah.
it feels more like solid and strong.
Yeah.
Rather than this like flimsy kind of like flip. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but
no, I think I get what you mean. It just feels like compact and like almost robotic. Probably sounds negative, but
yeah,
like almost
more,
like structured.
Yeah, more like that.
Nice. Got to the top nicely. Hands moved in, which is okay. Great swing.
Yeah.
But feel okay. Feel like an easy to achieve.
Yeah, it does.
One thought, hopefully.
Yeah.
Could really keep it wide as soon as we can get with it. Nice. That was really good.
It's weird. Like, I'm surprised that the kind of speed and distance isn't down. Like I know it hasn't gone up.
Yeah.
It's just normal.
Yeah. But you feel like you're swinging half as
far
Yeah.
and less going on. Yeah.
I mean, that speed is bang on. This is going to feel like a repeat. I'm sure last time we mentioned clubhead speed, it was 82.2. I'm sure
Yeah,
it was literally
Yeah.
like the same number.
Yeah.
And again, the ball flight's good. We were a little bit further left in terms of setup, so passing a bit more left, but your ball speed's some of the strongest we've seen from it. Low points, just that nice amount ahead. Again, that's kind of where I'm seeing you settle now. Maybe one and a bit ahead. Yes, you've had a couple that drop back, but they're not jumping around all over the place.
And that attack angle is fine.
Yeah.
It's almost shallow, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, that could be, for certain players, too shallow.
Yeah.
But for some players, that could be too steep.
Yeah.
It's all got to match up with what you're doing. Nice, really good hit. Again, low points with 1 inch ahead. Again, it really fits that trend we're setting.
Yeah.
Carried 161. Clubhead speed 83.4. Again, pass just to the right. I mean, that's your longest hit by far. Ball speed's the quickest we've seen it. And I think that links in. You see your dynamic loft's a bit lower than average there. So right. you know I've mentioned that potentially when we keep you wide, once you're wide, that will not break down as much, you won't add loft.
Yeah.
If you're wide and then turning onto it, you're keeping the loft slightly lower, again 1.5 degrees lower loft equals slightly lower spin, still appropriate though, and your ball speed goes up because the flatter the face, the quicker the ball moves, obviously again assuming a decent contact.
Yeah.
So you've just gained in every department there. Good, really wide, and give it that turn. That sounded quick. Still sounded good.
Yeah.
Feel good?
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. Good. I'm going to move you a tiny bit this way. I might be able to have a quick look. But again, half so on it. Yeah, it's carrying 160, ball speed's good. Dynamic loft's a tiny bit lower. It's such a playable shot.
Yeah.
I mean, the last one wouldn't have picked this up, but what's that low point going to be there? It's got to be tiny bit ahead, yeah, 1.7 ahead. It's really starting to build into like a normal value now. How'd that feel?
Good, yeah.
You can't feel it. Again, swing's always going to move a bit different when I'm stood here.
Yeah.
In terms of like direction you move in and stuff, because no one wants to swing to the right when I'm sitting there. But look when those arms are, for all you know, that could have been any of the last 5 videos I've taken.
Yeah.
They look identical. The arm structure's really nailed in, turn's good, shoulder work's alright, nice. Again, coming into impact there, it's good. Turn through. But there's nothing there that screams out that's going to cause problems. I think it's really good.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I think we lost the width a tiny bit, but it was a really good swing. I mean, it's pumpy, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's nice.
Again, really keep it wide. Good, tiny bit necky, but good swing.
Yeah.
No, we're not. Why did I even open my mouth? Because you hit that so nicely. Like we don't. I'm just being critical there. Good move. Again, low points right in that little gap that we've started to find.
It starts to look quite consistent, isn't it? The numbers.
Yeah, they're not jumping around anymore.
Yeah.
Like your path today, I mean, I know I've moved you left and right, but it's pretty much been neutral, a hair left, a bit more right if it goes right, but that's fine. It doesn't have to be that one number, but I don't want to see it going like left all the time, then a big right one. We've kind of locked it in, and that's just being built by our turns and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's never really gone more than like 2 either side.
Yeah,
Is it?
I mean, it's been really, it's been really good. It's nice to see that as well, because it could have been. I didn't think it was, because when you sent me the video, I was like, now there's no way that the path's wrong with the turns you were getting. I knew it had to be something else, but it could have been that our first lesson hadn't hit. It just wasn't like it didn't land properly, but it clearly has. So it just means that that's kind of a checkpoint achieved. We've done. We put one layer on there. We layer it up. We layer it up.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm really happy with all that.
Oh yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah.
It's good, mate. Really good.
But no, it does. Honestly, that feels really good. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I'll say the word looks good because, like, for me, it looks like this is going to happen from those positions.
Yeah.
But like, it's a position that I feel like you can move consistently and well from.
Yeah.
Like, to me, a good looking swing is irrelevant. When I say it looks good, I mean it looks like you can function well. It looks like your movements aren't going to be negative, or like, your form's not going to dictate how that club moves. It looks like fine enough for you to do what we need to do.
Yeah.
Because I have no real preference where your hands are or what they're doing. They're just kind of got to be roughly in similar spots. Like, genuinely, if I could have you all consistently a ball flight from tonight, I reckon I could knock it around a couple under, easy without trying.